Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Book Chat. This week I'm going to be talking about more juvenile books, but I really hope you stay tuned in even if you don't have children because adults can read juvenile books too. They're wonderful books to read. I've talked to many adults who have read some of these books, if not all. So my actual theme this week is Newbery Medal winners. Now the Newbery Award was named for an 18th century British bookseller, John Newbery, and the award is given to the author of the most distinguished contribution to American literature for children. They don't distinguish between picture books, juvenile books, young adult books. They look at them all. And to be a Newbery winner is obviously a very highly coveted award to win. And we're very fortunate we have many of them here in our library. So I want to start off talking first about an author who is from Minnesota, or lives in Minnesota now. I'm not actually sure where she was born. Her name is Kate DiCamillo. If you've heard that name before, it may be because she has written other books, including one other Newbery Award winner. Not many authors have two winners, and she does. She's the author of Because of Winn-Dixie, The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane. She has written The Tale of Despero, which is one of her award winners. And she also writes a fabulous early reader chapter series called Mercy Watson. It's about a pig. So all of her books deal with animals in different ways. And her newest winner is no different. It's called Flora and Ulysses. And it's about Flora, who is a girl, and Ulysses, who is a squirrel who, due to circumstances beyond his control, develops some interesting powers. And so I was writing up a summary for this, and I saw a quote from the author, and I wanted to read it because it's a fabulous description of the book. So, Kate says, I set out to tell the story of a vacuum cleaner and a squirrel. I ended up writing a book about superheroes, cynics, poetry, love, giant donuts, little shepherdess lamps, and how we are all working to find our way home. I think that is a wonderful summary of this book. I think it's a great book. It has a lot of family dynamics in it. A lot of Kate DiCamillo's books deal with different family dynamics. And she does such a good job of writing from the heart. I think a lot of people would recognize themselves in these characters and really feel for them. So, Flora and Ulysses by Kate DiCamillo. Now, you may notice that it does have the gold seal on it that says it is a Newbery Award winner. The Newbery Award honors also have a seal on them. However, if you see a book like this one, it does not have the seal. That doesn't mean that it wasn't a winner. It just means that we purchased the book before it won the award. And so the later copies obviously would have a seal on it. But this one we got before it even won, so we were right on top of that one. And this book is called The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill, also a Minnesota author. We're pretty well represented in the Midwest for these Newbery Award winners. And The Girl Who Drank the Moon is a book about misunderstandings. The village, believes that the witch is going to attack their village, so they sacrifice a baby every year by leaving it out in the woods for the witch. The witch has no idea that the villagers think she's a bad witch, and she goes and collects these babies. Then she thinks the villagers are horrible people for abandoning their children. And so she takes them to the other side of the forest and gives them to loving families to raise. And unfortunately, one of the children, Luna, ends up feeding her moonlight, which you are not supposed to do because it imbibes them, it gives them magical powers. And so this is a story of Luna and how she grows and how she helps rectify that whole miscommunication and help solve it at the end. I found it to be a fabulous book. My 16-year-old son found it to be a fabulous book. If you need any recommendations for that. I mean, a 16-year-old boy, this isn't usually something that he would read, but he read it and loved it. So I highly recommend that. The next one, I'm not going to lie, it made me cry. It was kind of an ugly, happy cry at the end, but it did make me cry. And it's called The One and Only Ivan. I am aware that there's a movie out about it. I have not seen it, so I can't compare whether the book and the movie are similar or not. but the book is fabulous. My fourth grader's reading it in class right now. I'm reading it with him at home because, or I should say rereading it, because it really is a touching book. And something I wanted to point out, the chapters, this is one chapter or one section called Imagination. This one is the loneliest gorilla in the world. See, it's a page and a little bit more. So this is a great book to read if you want to read it aloud, or if you have more of a reluctant reader at home that may not want to sit for long periods of time and read. It might be a struggle. You can move through it little by little. And it's heartwarming. It is about a gorilla and elephants and a dog. And in fact, Katherine Applegate is the author. She's not from Minnesota. She's from California, but we'll forgive her anyways. She wrote a sequel that just came out recently. It's called The One and Only Bob. And it's about a dog that is a friend in this book. I have been wanting to read it, but I've been telling so many people about The One and Only Bob, because I know a lot of people have read this book, that every time I go to check it out, our copy seems to be checked out. So I'll just wait my turn. But I highly recommend this. I've heard of other families doing a round robin with it, where each member of the family will read it, and then they can talk about it at the end. So that is definitely one. And the last one I'm going to talk about today, as I said, it can span the range from picture books all the way up to young adult, is a picture book called The Last Stop on Market Street. It's by Matt de la Peña. And this book has gorgeous, gorgeous artwork in it. And it talks about a young boy and his grandmother as they take the bus. And he has lots of questions to his grandmother about, why do we take the bus instead of the car? And she says, well, if we took a car, we wouldn't get to meet all of the people that we meet on the bus. And as it goes through, the young boy is questioning, why don't we have this? Why is this different? He sees some of the bad, and grandmother is always turning it into good. For example, he says, why can't I have it was a music playing device, like an iPod. He says, why can't I have one of those? And the grandmother says, because if you were wearing one of those, you wouldn't be able to hear the young man across the seat from us playing his guitar. And he played wonderful music. And so it really is a positive note. And as I said, the graphics are gorgeous. I have enjoyed reading this one through as soon as we got it, and I still pick it up once in a while. It really is a feel-good book. So, those are my recommendations for our Newbery Award winners. I hope you enjoyed them, and we'll see you here next week with Marguerite.